What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ravi Wadden, and in this video, I want to share an amazing lease deal on DriveMatch.com on a 2024 Toyota Tacoma SR5, which you can get for just $283 a month with just $3,000 total due at signing. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with what DriveMatch.com is, it's a company that I co-founded where you can get pre-negotiated lease deals, and with this helps you save time, it helps you save money, and it also gives you a lot of peace of mind. So what we'll do in this video is we'll go to DriveMatch.com and we'll talk about this lease deal in detail. We'll talk about where it's located, we'll talk about the residual value, we'll talk about the buyout option, how many miles are allowed in this lease, and I'll give you lots of other helpful tips and tricks along the way. And then what we'll do is we'll run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this Toyota Tacoma. And then in the last part of this video, what we'll do is I'll show you why leasing this particular truck at this price is a much better financial decision than financing the same truck. So if that sounds good to you, please be sure to like this video and please be sure to follow or subscribe. But with that, let's go ahead and jump into the computer behind me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on DriveMatch.com, and the vehicle that we're going to be looking at is this 2024 Toyota Tacoma SR5. It's the SR5 double cab with a 6-foot bed and an automatic transmission. And as you can see here, it's going for just $283 a month with just $3,000 due at signing, and it's a 24-month lease. But let's go ahead and click on this lease deal. Now, as you can see, for this particular trim, which is the SR5 double cab with a 6-inch bed, we do have 4 different lease deals that you can get on DriveMatch. So the 3 of these, deal 1 is, deal 1, deal 2, and deal 3 are located in Maryland in the Washington, D.C. area, and you can tell where it says vehicle location. And then deal 4 is located in the state of California. Now, for purposes of this video, what we're going to be doing is looking at deal number 1. But as you can see, the discounts on all 3 of these vehicles in Maryland is just amazing, right? We got a 14.64% discount. We have a 14.44% discount on deal 2 and a 10.5% discount on deal number 3. But as you can see here, you can lease this vehicle for just $283 a month plus tax. It requires $3,000 due at signing. And ladies and gentlemen, this $3,000 that's due at signing on DriveMatch.com is not like the due at signing that you see in the national lease advertisements, right? This $3,000, as you can see here, it includes your first month's payment, it includes your dealer fees, vendor fees, state registration fees, and your acquisition fee. So everything is included in this $3,000. And as a matter of fact, you can get this lease with just $1,000 due at signing, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Now, this is a 24-month lease, and you can get a 36-month lease. The MSRP on this particular truck is roughly $43,000, and as I mentioned, we already negotiated a massive discount on your behalf of 14.64%, and that's kind of unheard of for a Toyota Tacoma. And as you can see here, the allotted mileage or the allowed mileage per year is at 12,000 miles, and the vehicle is located in the state of Maryland in the Washington, D.C. area. Now, one of the things that you can do now on DriveMatch, which makes it an amazing platform, is that we've added a lot of new features. So if you click on Customize Deal, you'll see all of this information pop up, right? So the zip code that I'm currently using is a New York City zip code, because if I used my Seattle area zip code, I wouldn't be able to customize this deal because it's not eligible for people that live in Seattle. So anyways, now on DriveMatch, what you can do is you can choose your lease term. So you can do a 12-month lease, you can do a 24-month lease, 27, 33, or 36. Now, the reason that we default to 24-month lease that allows for 12,000 miles a year is because that is the optimum where you're getting the best value. So that's what we default it to. Now, if you do a 24-month lease and you think that 12,000 miles a year is not enough for you, you can make this a 15,000 mile a year lease, and you'll see that the monthly payment will automatically adjust. So if I click on 15,000 miles a year, you can see that the monthly payment went up to $349 a month. And ladies and gentlemen, I suggest that you always get if you know you're going to drive more than 12,000 miles a year, and you drive 15,000 miles a year, don't get a 12,000 mile a year lease, because what you're going to end up doing is having to pay excess mileage penalty if you were to turn this lease in. But with the 15,000 miles, you're going to be getting these extra 3,000 miles a year at a discounted rate. Because I think the excess mileage penalty might be 20 or 25 cents, whereas if you just pay for the 3,000 miles up front, you'll probably get it at like 10 or 15 cents, as an example. I don't know the exact numbers, but that's just as an example. But let's go ahead and leave this at 12,000 miles. And then another awesome feature that we added is that you can actually add your rebate. So if you qualify for the loyalty rebate, we can just click on loyalty, and here's the eligibility. You could read through this, and if you are eligible, you get $1,000 off. So you can just hit I qualify, and the monthly payment will automatically adjust. As an example, if I hit I qualify, my monthly payment reduces to $265 a month. Now if I click this again, I'm just going to hit I don't qualify. And then you have the same option, or the rebate options for military as well. With military, you get an additional $750 off. And if you're a new graduate, just read the eligibility. And as you can see here, new graduates get $500 off. Now, another awesome feature that we added to Drive Match is that you can automatically adjust the total due at signing amount. So as you can see here, the minimum due at signing amount is set by the dealer, because remember, all these cars that are on Drive Match, we're not housing the inventory. These are deals that we've pre-negotiated with dealerships across the country. And this dealer in particular is saying, hey, the minimum we need, that's minimum due at signing amount that we need is $1,000. And as you can see here, if you just do $1,000 down, and this would include all your registration, right? You're not gonna have to pay for tax, title, license, registration on top of this $1,000. This $1,000 is inclusive of all of that. But with $1,000 down, your monthly payment is $405 a month, and this $405 a month is including sales tax. But as you can see, if we default it back to the $3,000 due at signing, the monthly payment goes to $311 a month. But let's just say I want to do $1,000 due at signing, because if I was shopping for this particular car, that's what I would do. There's no real benefit of doing $3,000 due at signing versus $1,000 due at signing. All you're essentially doing is just putting more money towards the capitalized cost of the vehicle, and that just means that you're just prepaying the lease. There's really no financial benefit of doing so, so I always try to tell people to put the least amount of money down as possible on a lease. And the cool thing with Drive Match is it's fully transparent, and you can do that right within the website. Now, as you can see, we have a final checkout estimate here, right? So it says your due at signing amount is $1,000. You have a pre-tax monthly payment of $373. The estimated taxes on that payment, because remember, payments are taxed, is $32 a month. And then your post-tax payment is going to be $405 a month, which, as you can see, is listed here as well. Now, if we click on Add to Cart and View Breakdown, it's going to take you to this next page, and this is where you want to review your order. And we have some additional information that we didn't have in the earlier version of DriveMatch.com. Now, you'll see that your deal terms are all listed out: 24 months, 12,000 miles a year, no additional rebates selected. The residual value, this is an awesome feature that we added. So a lot of people ask, hey, Ravi, if I lease this Toyota Tacoma or whatever other car on DriveMatch.com, what can I buy this car for at the end of the lease term? So you can see that this car has an 82% residual value, and typically Toyotas do have a high residual value. And this just means that this car, after driving it 12,000 miles over 2 years, so for driving it 24,000 miles over 24 months, at the end of that time period, at the end of 24 months, Toyota is estimating that this car will retain 82% of its value, or it will depreciate 18% over 2 years. And that means that at the end of the lease term, you can buy this car for roughly $35,000. Now, does it always make sense to buy the car at the end of the lease term? No, it doesn't. What I try to tell everyone is that at the end of the lease, like when your lease, let's say you have like a month left on your lease, what you want to see is, hey, what are these 2024 Toyota Tacomas selling for on the open market? Now, if they're selling for more than $35,000, chances are that you have positive equity. And I would say that, from a financial decision standpoint, it probably makes sense to either buy your lease and continue to drive it for another year or two, or realize the positive equity that you have in the lease by either selling your lease to a Toyota dealership or a third party if your lease allows it before the lease ends. So let's say the Toyota dealership near you in New York is giving you an offer of $38,000 at the end of the lease term. Well, you can sell it for $38,000 and pocket $3,000 in cash because the residual value is $35,000. Or you can take that $3,000 and maybe put it towards your next Toyota lease. And the cool thing with that is, if your next Toyota lease has a loyalty rebate as well, you'd get an additional $1,000 there too. So it just really depends on the situation. But you can make this work to your advantage in the best way possible, right? There are many ways to realize the equity, but some ways are better than others. Now you'll see that the full price breakdown is here as well. And another thing that you'll see here is we have a disposition fee. So this is the fee that Toyota would charge you if you turned your lease in. And this is standard for all vehicle leases. Every manufacturer has a disposition fee. It can range from $350 or $300 to like $1,000 depending on the make. But for this particular car, it's $350. And you wouldn't have to pay this if you bought the car before the lease ended, or if you sold it before your lease ended. And as you can see here, you have a shipping fee estimate of $500. So I am using a zip code 11101, which is a New York City zip code. So to get this car shipped from the Washington, D.C. area to New York City, where I hypothetically live, in this scenario, the shipping estimate would be $500. And if you wanted to pick up this car in person for free, you could do that for no charge at all from the relevant dealership. And that goes for every car on DriveMatch.com. And if you wanted to coordinate your own shipping, you can do that as well. But we do have really good rates on shipping that we've already kind of pre-negotiated because we work with a lot of different vendors. And then what you do if you wanted this lease is just, tick all of these check boxes here, and then you just click on checkout deal. And that's how easy it is on DriveMatch, and somebody would reach out to you from one of the vendors, or somebody from the DriveMatch team would reach out to you and finalize this Toyota Tacoma lease deal on your behalf so that you can be in possession of it as soon as possible. Now what I want to do actually in this part of the video is I want to run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this Toyota Tacoma. And I want to show you guys why it's an exceptional lease deal in terms of value. So when you do my 1.25% rule of leasing, if you get a number less than 1.5%, that's a good lease deal. If you get a number less than 1.25%, that's a great lease deal. And if you get a number under 1%, that's an amazing lease deal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the $3,000 that's due at signing. And remember, you can do, $1,000, but we're going to do $3,000 since it's written right here. And we'll subtract $283 from that amount since that's included in the due at signing amount. And that gives us $2,717. Now what I'm going to do is divide this by 24 since this is a 24-month lease and break that into 24 equal parts. And that gives me $113. And now what I'm going to do is add the monthly payment of $283 back in. And that gives me a pre-tax monthly payment of $396. I'll multiply this by 1.1 to account for 10% sales tax, even though it might not be 10% sales tax where you live, but I like to be conservative. And you get an effective monthly payment with $0 down, right? This is assuming that you don't put anything down. It's assuming that you do a sign and drive lease. And this is just for the sake of running the 1.25% rule, but my monthly payment would be $435 a month with nothing due at signing, just signing paperwork, taking the car, and then making payments starting the second month. And all taxes, fees, registrations, dealer fees, everything rolled in. $435 a month. That's my effective monthly payment. And if I divide this by this vehicle's MSRP, which is roughly $43,000, I get 0.0101. I'll multiply this by 100 to turn it into a percentage and move the decimal point over 2 spots. And as you can see, I get 1.01%. So ladies and gentlemen, this lease comes in at 1%. So anything under 1.5% is a good deal. Anything under 1.25% is a great deal. And anything 1% or under is an amazing lease deal. And on a Toyota Tacoma, you're not going to find too many for that matter. You're not going to find too many or any 1% lease deals. And remember, this is on DriveMatch, so you don't even have to, negotiate with the dealership. This is pre-negotiated. Everything is done, and it's a 1% lease deal. And now what I want to do in this part of the video is compare the monthly finance payments to the monthly lease payment. So let's use the selling price of this truck, which is $43,000, or excuse me, we'll use the MSRP of this truck as the selling price, $43,000. We'll do a 72-month loan, and then we'll use an interest rate of, let's just do 1.99%. That's a low interest rate. I'm not sure what Toyota's running, but I'm sure it's not higher than 1.99%. We'll do no down payment. We'll change this to New York, and we will include all fees in the loan, assume they're $2,300. And if I hit calculate, you'll see that the monthly payment, assuming these parameters, is $711 a month. And the monthly, my monthly effective monthly payment on the lease, if you remember, let's run it again, it's $3,000 minus $283 divided by 24 plus 283 times 1.1, an effective monthly payment of $435 a month versus if you were to finance this particular car, $711 a month. So roughly $300 more. You're looking at about $3,300 extra a year if you were to finance this Toyota Tacoma right here. And a lot of you are going to say, hey, but when you finance this car, you own it. But remember, this lease and all leases on DriveMatch do have a buyout option. So you do have the option to buy this lease at the end of your lease term. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why I think leasing this Toyota Tacoma is such a great deal. And that's why I wanted to make this video. I wanted to show you guys that we have a 1% lease deal on a brand new Toyota Tacoma. But if you guys have any questions about car leasing in general, whether it's about a DriveMatch lease deal or a non-DriveMatch lease deal, I'm happy to help. I really want to empower you guys on your car leasing or car buying journey for that matter. But if you have any other questions about DriveMatch or about car leasing, drop them in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. Financial knowledge is power. Please like and follow for more.